Namaste. Shriman Venkatanadharya Kavitarkiga Keshari Vedanta Acharya Varyo Me Sannidattam Sadahridi. Today, Friday, the September 21st, 2018 is a very important day. Swami Vedanta Desika incarnated 750 years back exactly the same day. This Acharya is a very important Acharya in the Sri Vaishnava lineage. Swami Vedanta Desika is believed to be the incarnation of the divine bell of Tirupati Balaji. His original name is Venkatanatha. Natha, the gong, Venkata, the name of Balaji. So Venkatanatha was his original name. Swami Desikan incarnated in a small village called Thupul, which is near Kanchipuram. For those who know, Kanchipuram is just about 2 hours drive from Chennai. It's a temple town. Thupul has its own temple. The Lord there is Lord Deepa Prakasha, Vishnuji. Swami Desikan learnt all Vedic knowledge in Thupul under the tutelage of great Acharyas of his times and went on to become the greatest Acharya in many ways. Swami Desikan had abundance of devotion towards Lord Lakshmi Hayagriva. Hayagriva, the horse-faced form of Vishnuji, is epitome of knowledge. We want knowledge, we worship Lord Lakshmi Hayagriva. Jnananandamayam devam nirmalas padigakridam adharam sarvavidyanam hayagrivam ubasmahe. Jnanam, Anandam, if you want all this, knowledge and happiness. Whom do you worship? Hayagrivam ubasmahe. You worship Lord Lakshmi Hayagriva. Swami Desikan penanced on Lakshmi Hayagriva and the Lord presented himself and granted a lot of boon. Swami Desikan went on to create abundance of work, stotras, slokas, dramas in many forms only because of the divine blessing of Lakshmi Hayagriva. Swami himself says in his Hayagriva Stotra, Visesha with Parishadeshanada Vidakta Goshti Shamarang Ganeshu Jigishado me Kavitar Kigendran Jikhwahana Simhasanamoppipeya, which means Swami establishes that Lakshmi Hayagriva sits as a throne in his tongue and makes him write and speak the way he is speaking and writing. So that is the grace Lord Lakshmi Hayagriva has bestowed on Swami Desikan, who went on to become the Acharya of greatest stature. Swami Desikan not just wrote some stotras, gave some slokas. He was given a title called Sarvatantra Swatantran. Sarvatantra Swatantran means a master of all. Okay. Now who gave this title? No other human being gave. This title was bestowed by goddess Mahalakshmi herself. In Srirangam, Mahalakshmi is called Ranganayaki. Ranganayaki Tayar bestowed the title Sarvatantra Swatantran on Swami Desikan. Now, when somebody gets this title, there are always people who want to test it just to reassure. There are people who want to test it just to mock or take a snide. So there were people in Swami's times who did that. Once a snake charmer passed by and said, I heard you are Sarvatantra Swatantra. Can you capture my snakes? He said, no problem. So he let go 3 snakes from his big bag of snakes. Swami Desikan just uttered a small mantra, drew 3 lines on the path. The snakes could not even cross the first line. Taken aback and surprised, and also his ego taking a beating, the snake charmer let go a very ferocious snake which came really sizzling. Swami Desika wrote at that time, recited Garuda Dandaka, a sloka on Garuda, and so it happened after the recitation of Garuda Dandaka, Garuda flew in, not just took control of the ferocious snake, but the entire snakes that the snake charmer had. The snake charmer accepted his defeat, fell at the feet of Swami Desika and asked for forgiveness, and then requested Swami to return the snakes because that is his bread and butter. Swami Desika prayed again to Garuda and then ensured that the snakes were given back to the snake charmer. This Garuda Dandaka is a very interesting sloka. If it is recited in the meter Swami has written, it will be exactly like Garuda is flying. Nama Pannaganattaya Vaikunta Vasavardhine Shruti Sindhu Sudotpada Mantraya Garut Mate. That's how it starts, and it has a very small sloka. It's very nice to recite. And it's a lovely sloka where you invoke the blessings of Garuda and remove all fears that we have, particularly of venomous objects. So that was Swami Desikan's greatness, to give one sample of Sarvatantra Swatantra. Not to be left like this, Swami was traveling the other part of Tamil Nadu. Near Kadalur, there is a place called Thiru, where a mason said, you write slokas, you preach and all that. Can you do something worthwhile like I do? I construct houses, I create wells and all that. Swami Desika in no time created a well all by himself, and which is still there in that holy place called Thiruvahindrapuram. So yet another example that he is a Sarvatantra Swatantra. So Pandits also challenged him. So there was one Pandit in Sri Ranga said, can you write 1,000 songs or 1,000 slokas in 3 yamas? One night is actually divided into 3 yamas. So he said, can you write it in one night? Swami Desikan wrote 1,000 slokas in just 1 yama, 1/3 of the time, called Paduka Sahasram. Paduka Sahasram, he wrote these songs on the divine footwear of Ranganatha. We all know Ramayana. Ramayana, the Rama Paduka had more power than Rama himself. Bharata ruled Ayodhya with Rama Paduka. The Paduka has great significance in Hindu tradition. So Swami Desikan wrote 1,000 verses on Paduka of Ranganatha of Srirangam called Paduka Sahasram. Again a sample of Sarvatantra Swatantra. This knowledge, skill was all there. There was also valor. Just as many parts of India, Srirangam also went through the marauding Mughals. It had its own dark times, dark periods, with the marauding warriors killing everybody. Swami Desika had to protect very, very rare granthas. Sutta Prakashika is one such grantha, which had so much of knowledge and information built into it that he had to protect it. And he had killers all around him. What did he do? Swami Desika hid himself among many corpses, feigned as if he is dead, with the Sutta Prakashika intact with him, waited for his time before the killers went away from the place, then quietly slipped, and thereby protecting a most important grantha which can stand and give knowledge for generations and generations later, even today. And just not today, even later. So that has his valor. Then of course, there was a young brahmachari who approached Swami Desikan when he was in Kanchipuram and said, I need money, I'm going to get married, I need money. Swami Desika was an aesthetic saint. He never had any money. He typically lived on alms, singing the praise of Lord, and lived for that day. So he never had money. So what did he do? He recited Sri Stuti as 25 stanza sloka on Goddess Mahalakshmi. And though he had a rain of gold coins, and the brahmachari took all the coins and had his wedding. In that 25 lines, 25 verses that Swami gave in Sri Stuti, one important sloka I would like to share with you. Yogarambad dhurida manaso yushmadai kanta yuktam dharmam praptum pradomehe dharayante danayam desham bhumer dhanabadikraha tambara ambuderva tara niryan yadigamadhigam vanchitanam vasunam. Just this sloka alone, as my Acharya used to say, that this sloka alone can give you wealth from all directions. Swami Desikan gave this to that brahmachari. I keep saying Acharya. I quoted my Acharya who blessed me with this particular sloka on the Sri Stuti. Who is an Acharya? An Acharya has got 3 dimensions. First and foremost, knowledge. The Acharya must know the Vedic knowledge in detail. Second is Anushtana. So Jnana is first, Anushtana or practice is next. Knowing alone is not accepted in the Vedic tradition. It is important that the person puts into practice what he has learnt. So Anushtana is extremely important. Third is Upadesha or advice. Swami Desikan was an epitome of Jnana, Anushtana and Upadesha. For Upadesha, he created a lot of slokas and many forms in which he transmitted the knowledge to generations even now. Normally people write poems in praise of Lord. Swami Desika was unique. He demonstrated bhakti and demonstrated his knowledge through poetry, through prose and drama That's his best. So he used all forms to communicate this. And most importantly, he wrote in Sanskritam, he wrote in Tamil, and also Prakrit. Now what is Prakrit? Prakrit is one colloquial form of Sanskritam that was in use in those days. Normally we have many slangs for any language, be it Tamil, Hindi or Telugu, Kannada. People have their own regional slangs. So Prakrit was one such regional slang of Sanskritam. He was able to write in that mode also, more importantly, because of his Bhakti Bhava. Because in that sloka that he wrote in Prakrit, he thought himself as a woman in a normal living life, earning to see the Lord and go and attain his feet. That's how he was able to write it. So Bhakti Bhava is more important in using Prakrit. Swami Sri Desikan is such a magnanimous Acharya, a majestic Acharya, that we are all blessed to even know about him and be in the times when his 750th birthday is being celebrated, or Thiru Nakshathiram is being celebrated. His typical Sri Vaishnava teaching is only one. The cycle of birth, death and rebirth must be broken. How do you break it? By going and falling, surrendering at the divine feet of Sriman Narayana through an Acharya. Now in today's Kali Yuga, we have our own pressures. Daily running our end, meeting our ends itself is making it difficult. In addition, I need to also have other distractions that I need to wade away. All our five senses can get distracted in any form. So how do I control myself before I even think of an Acharya or God? That is where Swami Desika helps. Reciting one among many of his works, just one stanza of his, will give us the kind of mind which will lead us to an Acharya through whom we can surrender to Sriman Narayana. Swami Desikan, I mentioned that he lived in abject poverty. He never had money for himself. But he is a grahastha, he had a family and everything, but he never had money for himself because he felt it is the Lord, is his wealth, full wealth. One of his friends, who was a major minister in Krishna Devaraya's cabinet, wanted Swami Desikan to also be in the cabinet because he knows how great he is in knowledge. But Swami Desika kept refusing this, saying that my time is only for the Lord. And after repeated requests, he finally gave something called Vairagya Panchakam to his friend, which actually is for us. In that he says, Nasti pitrarjidam kinchit, namaya kinchitarchitam, asti me hasti sailagre vastu paitamaham dhanam. Nasti pitrarjidam kinchit. My forefathers have not given me any money. Namaya kinchitarchitam. I have not earned money. Asti me hasti sailagre. Kanchipuram is also called Hastigiri. Vastu paitamaham dhanam. My great grandfather Brahma has created a wealth for me, Lord Varadaraja in Kanchipuram. He is my wealth, is what he says. Let us worship at the divine feet of Swami Desikan on this very auspicious day and look to live peacefully and get the right Acharya connection so that we can surrender ourselves to Sriman Narayana. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunasaline Srimate Venkatesaya Vedanta Guruve Namaha.